I've talked about my personal Heisman top 10 numerous times this offseason. I first gave my top 10 way back in the early stages of the offseason. Well, with the college football season getting ready to start, it's time for my final Heisman top 10 for the 2024 campaign. Before we get to my top 10, make sure to hit that subscribe button and turn on those notifications if you're new to my channel. If you're watching this video, odds are you love college football, and odds are you aren't subscribed to my channel. So make sure to subscribe to one of the best college football communities here on YouTube. Kicking things off at number 10 is a player who I think is a little bit of a risk, but I'm going to have him in here anyway, and that's Kansas quarterback Jalon Daniels. The reason I think he's such a risk is just because there's a chance he might get hurt again, and he might not even be the starter for most of the season. He appeared in only 3 games last season and 9 games back in 2022. But a couple years ago, we saw how good he truly is, and when he's on the field, I do think he's one of the better quarterbacks in all of college football. If you take his numbers from the last 2 seasons where he's appeared in 12 games, Daniels has completed 70% of his passes while throwing for 2,700 yards with 23 passing touchdowns and 5 interceptions. He's also rushed for over 500 yards with 7 rushing scores as well. Again, this is contingent on him staying healthy and Kansas being a good team, but if Jalon Daniels does stay healthy in 2024, I think Kansas, and I can't believe I'm going to say this, has a chance to be a potential threat in the Big 12. Coming in at number 9 is Missouri quarterback Brady Cook. Now, I talked about this in my Heisman Sleepers video, but I think Luther Burden is the best wide receiver in all of college football, and if any non-quarterback is going to win the award, it's probably going to be him. But because this is a quarterback award, his quarterback is Brady Cook, so he's going to have the edge, at least for my top 10. Now, Brady Cook is still a really good quarterback. Last season for the Tigers, he threw for 3,300 yards and had 21 passing touchdowns, while also adding 8 touchdowns on the ground as well. I think Missouri is going to be really good once again, and I think they're going to be in the playoff discussion by the end of the year. And if that's the case, I think Brady Cook is going to have another good season, and he's going to be in the Heisman running. I kind of want to have this as a duo between him and Luther Burden, but realistically, I think Brady Cook has the better chance of winning this award. Coming in at number 8 is a quarterback we didn't see a whole lot of last year in Oklahoma quarterback Jackson Arnold. With Dillon Gabriel leaving for Oregon, he's going to be their new starting quarterback. He appeared in 7 games last season for the Sooners, completing 65% of his passes while throwing for 500 yards with 4 touchdowns. He also ran for over 100 yards with a rushing score. We saw him in bits and pieces here and there, but our best look at him was in Oklahoma's bowl game against Arizona. He threw for 360 yards with 2 passing touchdowns while also running for 40 yards as well. We saw the kind of numbers that Dillon Gabriel put up with the Sooners, and I think Jackson Arnold is going to be pretty similar, if not better than what Gabriel was. Up next on our list is another brand new quarterback in Tennessee quarterback Nico Malava. Like I just said with Jackson Arnold, we haven't seen a whole lot, but there's a lot to be excited about. Malava got his opportunity to start in Tennessee's bowl game last year against Iowa. In that game, he threw for 150 yards with a passing touchdown while adding 3 touchdowns on the ground as well. This is a highly touted quarterback that many people think could be a future superstar at the collegiate level. It's really scary when you put guys inside your Heisman top 10 who you haven't seen a whole lot from, but there's a chance that Malava could be one of the better quarterbacks in all of college football by the end of the year. Up next is Jackson Dart, who is already a veteran as this is now his 4th collegiate season. I feel like he's always in my early preseason Heisman top 10, but he never is able to make the jump into getting votes to be an actual finalist. Last season was definitely the best of his career as he threw for over 3,300 yards with 23 passing touchdowns and only 5 interceptions. He also added 400 yards on the ground with 8 rushing scores as well. Jackson Dart is a really good quarterback, and Ole Miss is a top 10 team. The only question is, can Ole Miss hang around and still be a top 10 team by the end of the year, and can Jackson Dart continue to put up these really solid numbers? Personally, I think he can. Depending on which betting outlet you look at, Quinn Ewers is usually inside the top 3 when it comes to odds, but I have him at number 5. Now, he was really solid for Texas last season as he completed a very nice 69% of his passes while throwing for 3,500 yards. He also had 22 passing touchdowns with only 6 interceptions. However, if he wants to win the Heisman Trophy, those numbers are going to have to get a whole lot better. 22 passing touchdowns is just not going to cut it. Now, I definitely think he can improve on those numbers, but he had a really, really good offense surrounding him last year. Texas is going to have a great offense once again, but making the jump to the SEC, I don't know if necessarily he's going to have what it takes to take that next step and throw for 4,000 yards and throw 40 passing touchdowns. But he's still a really good quarterback, and I definitely think there is that small possibility, so that's why I have him all the way up at number 5. Before we get to the rest of today's video, I'd like to share with you guys how you can make the college football season more exciting and even win some money. I've partnered with Underdog Fantasy once again to bring you this amazing deal. If you download the Underdog Fantasy app and use promo code Harris, they'll match your first deposit up to $1,000. Yep, you heard that right. They're giving you up to $1,000 of free money. You can choose your favorite players and decide whether or not they will go higher or lower than their season projections. I've made a couple already that I'll be following all season long, and you can join me as well. So to add a little extra excitement to every game and every snap and win some money, make sure to use promo code Harris for a 100% deposit match up to $1,000. Again, they're giving you up to $1,000 of free money. You guys can also sign up using the link in my description as well. Jalen Milroe finished 6th in Heisman Trophy voting last season, and he was probably one of the favorites late in the year. He had a fantastic debut season for Alabama as he threw for 2,800 yards with 23 passing touchdowns and 6 interceptions. He also added 500 yards on the ground with 12 rushing scores as well. Like I just talked about with Quinn Ewers, if Jalen Milroe wants to have a legitimate chance at winning the Heisman Trophy, he's really going to have to improve on those numbers. 2,800 yards and 23 passing touchdowns aren't going to cut it. He's also probably going to have to really improve those rushing numbers as well. But if he's able to do that, Alabama's probably going to be a top 10 team once again, so the team results are going to be there. It's just a matter of, can the player results be there for Milroe? By now, you probably know who's going to be inside my top 3, and that's Arizona quarterback Noah Fifita. I'm just insanely high on him despite being an Arizona State fan. Last season, in his first season as the starting quarterback for the Wildcats, he threw for 2,900 yards while completing 72% of his passes. He also threw 25 passing touchdowns with only 6 interceptions. Fifita was one of the better up-and-coming quarterbacks in all of college football, and I think he's going to be even better in 2024. I think there's a chance that Arizona can be the best team in the Big 12, so if they win the conference and Fifita puts up the kind of numbers I'm expecting, he'll definitely be a Heisman finalist. I think he's been number 1 all off-season for me, and I still really want to have him at number 1, but for this video, I got him at number 2, and that's Georgia quarterback Carson Beck. Last season, he was phenomenal for Georgia as he threw for just under 4,000 yards while completing 72% of his passes. He had 24 passing touchdowns with only 6 interceptions and 4 rushing scores. The reason I don't have Carson Beck number 1 anymore is just because I think there's a chance he takes a small step back this season. Throwing for 4,000 yards was a lot last year, but he did lose his 2 top offensive pass catchers in Brock Bowers and Ladd McConkey. Again, I still think Carson Beck is going to have a really good season and be one of the best quarterbacks in all of college football, but I don't think he's going to throw for 4,000 yards again. Now, he could prove me wrong and surpass that, but it's going to take a lot for him this season. Coming in at number 1 for me, though, is Oregon quarterback Dillon Gabriel. We saw what Bo Nix did at Oregon last season as he nearly won the Heisman Trophy, so I think Dillon Gabriel can be even better. He's been fantastic throughout his entire career as he spent 3 years at UCF and the last 2 years at Oklahoma. This past season was his best season so far as he threw for 3,700 yards with 30 passing touchdowns while also adding 400 yards on the ground and 12 rushing scores. Dillon Gabriel has essentially posted video game numbers in every season he's been the starting quarterback, but there's a chance we still haven't seen his best. And that's pretty crazy considering he has 3 seasons where he's thrown for 3,500 yards and 3 seasons with 30 passing touchdowns. You add him to this Oregon offense, and there's a chance that Dillon Gabriel can throw for 4,000 yards, have 40 passing touchdowns, and have 10 rushing touchdowns as well. Well, those are the 10 players I think have the best chance of winning the Heisman Trophy in 2024. Who is your Heisman pick for this upcoming season? Also, was there a player I didn't include who definitely should have been inside this top 10? Whoever it is, let me know in the comment section down below. Before you leave, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and turn on those notifications if you're new to my channel. The college football season is finally here, and I'm going to be posting videos every day during the season, so make sure to subscribe so you never miss a video. Also, don't forget to drop a like on this video as well. It helps out with that YouTube algorithm and helps share the video and my channel with more college football fans. Plus, it only takes a second to do. As always, thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you all in my next video.